Hello. It's been a long time. Facebook, being the extreme right arm of this political agenda, we know that Zuckerberg and the corporate people who, not all corporations, not all companies, but Facebook has definitely sold its soul to Trump. And whatever against community standards, I didn't do anything wrong to warrant not going live for 90 days, but I'm so used to it. I've been in Facebook jail for speaking truth for a long time. I will say it again that Donald Trump is the Fuhrer. I've said it every day for 5 years since he descended that escalator. I have resisted every single day since then. I knew him when he was the pig that he was in the 80s, the misogynist that he was, and then, obviously came back. I never watched reality TV. I think reality TV has a lot to do with why Trump is here and things like the misery index where people take pleasure in other people's pain. I think it's disgusting. I have no reason to have any pleasure from anybody else's pain. And these last 4 years, we've had enough pain for lifetimes, with 230,000 people never to have their lifetime again on this earth, never got to say goodbye to their loved ones because of COVID and something that he could have prevented. So, but that was just, if you've watched any of my podcasts before, one bombardment in the daily barrage of Putin's definite plan of ultimate chess to have the greatest puppet ever, who now thinks that he should be able to keep reigning supreme as the supreme leader that he is. If you saw that Orwellian 1984 like Michigan terrifying propaganda on the big screen about there is no political party, there's only one person that can save you. I mean, Jim Jones is reincarnated on crack called Trump Town, and the Kool-Aid is more than killing us all. I mean, it's not just killing people in Jonestown. This Kool-Aid makes them still believe that they don't have to wear a mask. And if they talk about it, they even rationalize that the mask only doesn't protect them. This is why they don't want to wear masks, because it doesn't protect them, it only protects other people. If that doesn't sum up the Republican Party, I don't know what else does. They don't want to wear a mask because it only protects other people, it doesn't protect them. I mean, how selfish and fucking ridiculous can you get? Right there. And then many of them don't even believe it's real, they believe it's a hoax. And so the point of this podcast tonight is to raise the alarm again of how much trouble we are in. The FBI, the CIA have deemed white supremacy as the main threat to this nation. They're the number one domestic threat, not Muslims, not Mexicans, not anybody but homegrown white male terrorists. From Kyle to what happened in El Paso, to any of the manifestos that you see are connected, Charlottesville, connected to Trump. And when they tried to send the pipe bombs to the Obamas and the Clintons, they want this. And I know that you can't understand it. And I know that most people who are kind and loving and gravitate to the left anyway are kind and loving people. And they can't believe that there's an entire group of people who are this close to winning another election legitimately, because that's how many there are. And people can't, like, he swept the primary. Do you think that people adjusted things? I mean, he swept the primary like nobody else before him, even Reagan. So, I mean, I do believe he's a Russian puppet. He thinks that he should stay on because he was on the cruelest witch hunt ever. Everybody keeps thinking that he's stupid. They're still trying to say he's stupid. How stupid are you if you own almost all of the government? You literally own the government. Now you have the courts. You have over 200 and something federal judges. You've completely taken over the Supreme Court. Some grossly unqualified, Handmaid's Tale, Aunt Lydia, patriarchal, pus spewing, cunt, horrible prayer is whatever you think it is, as long as it's anti-gay, and you're going to rip away Obamacare, and you go on the White House lawn as a Supreme Court judge, there are separate branches of government for a reason. And for him to tout her off like that is a prize pony, that should I've said it every podcast, every hair on the back of your neck should be raised and should be to the point where you're not trying to quiet the people who are telling people to prepare. You should prepare. Stop telling me that he doesn't have any power. He has the Attorney General. He has the Supreme Court. He has the Senate. He has everything. His son, Eric Trump, is calling for people to join the army of Trump, and I quote, to make sure that they are out there as election militia for this fraud and this completely Reichstag brilliant method that they're doing that you keep denying. Do you think that he is going to concede? Can you see him going, yeah, Joe, good election. You won fair and square. I mean, what are you doing? And so I realize that we're kicking ass because we've worked our asses off. And yeah, there's a line. The left is united, thank God, because it wasn't in 2016 and we never should have been here. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I've been doing this a long time. You don't just get to choose and when you want to care. If you pick and choose when you want to care and when you want to get in this fight, those babies have been in those cages already for more than 4 years. Because we weren't about open borders. And immigration is a complicated thing. And the catch and release that Ted Cruz and all of them made fun of us for, which has nothing to do with open borders, now the Fuhrer is saying that only the ones with the low IQ come back. Is that from the shitholes, the rat-infested? What else kind of Nazi language do you need to hear before you realize that you're under a conservative coup? That my friends in the army, my friends from high school, when they say when they go one, we go all, when they say they are the silent majority, you can yell at me all you want about how you don't want to believe that it's true and there's no such thing as the majority with them. But I will tell you that the majority of them vote. I will tell you the majority of them do not split the vote. I'll tell you that as soon as Ted Cruz was out, they were all Trump in. That you'll never hear you'll never hear Jamie Harrison's opponent, Lindsey Graham, going against Trump. And so now it's not a matter of, to me, even though they've ripped apart the Voting Rights Act, they now have their handmaid's tale in the Supreme Court. They're coming after affordable health care. They're coming after the election results. Why do you think he has a 6-3 majority? You think it's just for one thing? You own the courts, you own it all. And it's those little chipping away at democracy that guts us, that bleeds us, that is 1,000 tiny wounds that I never thought one of them were tiny. And before you know it, your democracy is bled to death because you're sitting there thinking that he has no power. The most underestimated man of my time, by far. You all still think he's stupid. You all don't watch what he's doing in these rallies. You all don't know that he's feeding red meat to his rabid Republican base and beyond. Because the cruelty is the point. Because they really believe, because they want to believe that those babies are just born bad, like Betsy DeVos told you when she was in the hearing to Catherine Clark, because I keep up, I persist. I know that Brian Kemp, who stole the election from Stacey Abrams, he's been in office for a long time, suppressing and oppressing and repressing the vote. So, we had no time for platitudes and pie in the sky. And I'll say it till the day I die, that if we had that pantsuit in the White House, we wouldn't have had any of this. We would be reaching new heights. Because she doesn't need any freaking accolades or any of the rallies. She didn't need any of that shit. She was a grown-up. And my son would have been safer with Hillary Clinton as the rightful 45. So now I hope and pray. I do, but he already has them all convinced that this is rigged. He has them convinced in their feralness that this is a red wave. He has them standing back and standing by. He has them to where his sons are calling for them to be armed militias like the Wolverines, the Wolverine Warriors, or whatever those jackass little dick punks with their big guns were coming after Gretchen Whitmer. the Oath Keepers, they think they're in the American Revolution ×2. They think they're in their version of the Civil War, and why did you ever take away their heritage foundation? The Southern Poverty Law knows that white supremacy is the main terrorist group of our country, but yet you all do not think that he has any power. And this is not about Joe Biden. This is not about Kamala Harris. I've never seen two people work harder. I've never seen two people who have done everything in their power to lift and uplift, to build bridges, to build back better. They're the perfect ticket, and we will win. But will we see it? Will we know? Amy Coney Barrett's right there with I like beer Kavanaugh and let's gut all the unions Gorsuch, and to Clarence I like to do whatever I wanted a long time ago Thomas, who, and Chief Roberts and whatever the other freaking conservative judge, and they stole freaking Kavanaugh's seat too with Kennedy. I mean, you're under a coup. So what do you do? What do you do under a coup? Well, you get ready. You work your ass off right now because our only hope is to try to go so big. But my fear is as we go bigger and bigger, is as the caged animal knows that he is losing and that he's going to go to prison when he loses, he's going to get more feral. He's going to dangle more red meat. He's going to get more crazy about how he's a narcissist. He is the most toxic testosterone I've ever seen in my life. And I've been around a lot of narcissists. He'll never concede. So, I hope Christopher Wray, I do believe in Nancy Pelosi, but we are playing democracy with fascists. And when you play democracy with fascists, you sit there and watch them whittle away at democracy until you have nothing left but we the people. And of course, just like Putin in 1989, they're afraid of we the people. They're afraid of First Amendment. And they hide behind their oppression and their handmaid's tale and their religious freedom to oppress against gays and against women and people of color and everything, because they honestly think, like he tells them, that the racehorse theory is correct, that there are people that just great genes, and him acting like that when he got whatever happened with his COVID and all the greatest healthcare and all the greatest, remdesivir and things that are based on stem cell research. Hypocrisy. They're hypocrites. But my army friends don't want to share their money. They don't. They think poor people did it to themselves. They're in this sick prosperity gospel bullshit that just basically thinks, just like Presbyterians and people of predestination, that people are just born better, that they're just part of the great gene pool, that they're just destined and predestined to be great and to be elite. That's the most Nazism. It should be every thing on the back of your neck. So you get ready. You have a massive plan to vote. I hope you have already voted. IWillVote.com, swingleft.org, moveon.com, paybackproject.org, vote forward, hashtag whenweallvote.com, amymcgrath.com, electjohn.com, jamieharrison.com, markkelly.com, barbaraboyer.com, greenfieldforiowa.com, hickenlooper.com, SteveBullock.com. I mean, we only need 4 seats in the Senate to do this. But if he's going to call all elections or all ballots bad, that means the whole ballot. So I hope and pray that your Greg Abbott in Texas, who basically took it down to 1 ballot box per county for mail-in ballots. Hello, Dallas County. I'm from there. 1 ballot box. There's the Greg Abbotts and the Brian Kemps and the Ron DeSantis's and all those the lovely women from South Dakota. Yeah. The Republicans are extremely laser focused in their purpose. They don't have a democracy. They have their Hitler, and they have Heil. And they will do whatever it takes to take it all. So this is it. Get your backpacks ready. Get your backpacks ready. Make sure you have water in there, hand sanitizer, masks, plenty of granola bars, your marching boots, extra pair of socks, things for blisters, because we got to take to the streets. We have to take to the streets in peaceful protests. The First Amendment right. Protect the vote. Protect the election results. but keep working, keep working. And if you believe in a greater good, if you believe like I do in Jesus Christ, if you believe in that part in C.S. Lewis's Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, where they were all feral with glee when they had Aslan down, when RBG died, they had been circling her bed. They had been circling like the rabid demons that they are for her to die so they could fill that seat during election, where votes had already been cast without any process, without any due process, without any real hearings, without any kind of confirmation hearings. It was all bullshit. She never answered any questions. You should be angry. This is the appropriate emotion for absolute tyranny and absolute forcing their patriarchy down our throats. And I spit them out every day to the cost of my own health, because now I have to take care of these babies in special education, of children that have no more time. And these children that I am taking care of, at least they have someplace to go and they're not locked in cages. And what I said before is that Obama and Biden never had a deterrent to separate children from their parents. The greatest thing I ever did was breastfeed my baby. It was an intimate, loving, nurturing food source for him. And they ripped away those babies from their mother's breast and told them they were going to go give them a bath and bring them back, and they never did. And I would have never, ever, ever gotten over that. And if you've been in this fight as long as I have, you can remember those cries when those detention agents were taking and making fun of, because that's what they do, the fucking Nazis, man, of those babies crying and wailing for their parents that they will never see again. And now they've lost 525 freaking parents from these children. And where are the girls? We've been there for that. How many of those were trafficked through Bethany Christian adoption in Michigan with Betsy DeVos? And John Kelly, oh, he's such a great general. Fuck John Kelly and his homestead. He's a CEO of one of the biggest detention centers. But now he gets to write a book and he's just like, is America stupid? You have to keep up. You have to realize, Mattis, all of them, they were there and they could have done something. They could have done something at the time, and Hitler had generals too. And eventually he got rid of his generals too, and he had problems with every single one of them. Because they were trying, oh, wait, shit. This guy's a little too Nazi. This guy's a little bit too, and there was fighting over who was in charge. There's nobody else in charge when Trump's there. Nobody else. And then people are like, Putin's out of the picture. What are you talking about? Literally. You are being played. You are under a conservative coup. They are armed, they are dangerous, they are locked, they are loaded, they are told to stand back and stand by as the proud boys that they are, because there's very fine people on both sides, to include Nazis who killed Heather Heyer. So you get all of your stuff ready, you work like you work like there is no more time, because there's no more time, there's only 3 more days. You do everything you can to go into places like electjohn.com down in Georgia and all the ways that we can take this Senate, because that's the only path I see right now, is somehow we slip in, we sweep this Senate with numbers they've never seen. We do what we have to do right away to limit his executive powers. And I mean, this is election of our lifetime, life or death. COVID is, in my community, is just raging. I got no health care, as my body is legitimately in pain, with blood pressure up, with migraines, with stress, with something going on in my blood. But there's no time for me, because they're coronavirus. They're priority. They're dying. I'm not dying. So we're in a tertiary system now. We're in the end game. So get ready. And stop saying that he's stupid, and stop saying he has no power, and stop underestimating him. Make those calls. Go on those phone banks. Get out the vote. Do everything you can. Tell people now, absolutely, don't mail in anymore. Go to the polls. Go to the polls. Go to the polls. God bless us all. I hope we make it through this. I literally could not have warned you more. I didn't candy coat shit. Spit it out. Don't accept anything of right now as normal. Put your marching boots on and be ready to protect those election results against his pretty little girl that he paraded all over the White House lawn, because there's no more separation of church and state. There's no more separation of the powers. There's only President Trump for life is what he wants. Until he gets bored with us, playing with us, and pitting us against each other. But we want to give them health care, and they want to hurt us. Those are the facts. Go look up the militias. Go see what the FBI says about white supremacy. This is real. And I'm not talking little guns. I'm talking locked and loaded with paramilitary weapons. It's illegal. And we're too busy saying defund the police, which is the stupidest thing I ever heard of. You took your eye off the game. You took your eye off the enemy. You took your eye off and you went for the people that you just don't like how they look in a pantsuit. And Joe Biden, he's just old and I don't like him. Joe Biden is a wonderful man. Kamala Harris is a beautiful human being. They are love and light. If they pull this off and we somehow are delivered from this evil by our actions and also our prayers, they are going to have the hardest job, and you don't check out right after the election. You stay checked in the whole time. You care all the time because the climate cannot wait. The babies in cages cannot wait. People dying of coronavirus cannot wait. The children in schools that are now on remote and they have way too much screen time and their brains are, they need human contact. They need to be touched. They need to be loved. They need to be hugged. I'm a teacher. People need human contact. Every science experiment has shown that people die without human contact because we need that. We need each other. We have to come together. And I don't know how to come together with Trumpers when they only want to blow my brains out, and they've told me that. So please stop underestimating them. Please go to paybackproject.org, which all we do with Democrats is try to vote them out. We don't want to hurt them. And we want to vote them out so that we can stop the carnage, we can stop the death, we can stop the destruction, we can save our democracy, and we can save them too. We want to save Trumpers too, because we're liberals. That's what we do. We love and we tolerate. It's messy and we try to have agreements and disagreements and all this. But there's only one way with Trumpers. There's only one way with Republicans. There's only their evangelical, white crusade, white supremacy, conservative Christian, absolute shove it down your face, which is not even about Jesus. There was no prosperity gospel in Jesus. He fed the poor. He healed the sick. He went to the prisons. He was Jimmy Carter, not Donald Trump. Lord. So please work. JoeBiden.com. So many. MJ for Texas. That's my girl. And I will end this with this. If all I get, which I know and I pray for more, but hashtag ditch Mitch and AmyMcGrath.com, I want to take Mitch McConnell out of his seat and send him back to Kentucky with his also Russian-loving, making money off of our government wife, Chow, who they have gutted us. We are gutted. We're out there dying, bleeding from a million different ways that they have gutted our country in the last 4 years. So please, don't check out. Keep checked in. Make a plan to vote and make a plan to protect the election results. E3, educated, empowered, engaged. Thank you for listening. God bless us. Please, God, deliver us from this evil that's upon us. And please, please help us not have another civil war. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you. You don't have to believe like I do. We live in a country of religious freedom. God bless the United States of America with separation of church and state. Go vote. Protect the election. March. E3.